In today's video, we're going to be talking about cross-training for dancers. What is it, why you should do it, and what are some exercises that you can do. Hi guys, my name is Jordan Jonas Sparks. Welcome back to my channel. I am a dancer and a dance mentor here on YouTube. And in today's video, I am going to be talking about cross-training. So I figured what better time to make a video about cross-training than today when I am sore as F from a bunch of cross-training last night. So basically, you might be thinking, what is cross-training? And to give you a super simple answer of what cross-training is participating in another sport or another exercise that is going to use different parts of your body, different muscles, different coordinations, and just activities and movements in order to strengthen your main sport or exercise, in this case being dance. So, why is this important? In dance, depending on what your major style is, what you are best at, or what you do all the time, you're going to always be using the same muscles over and over and over and over and over again. And although you do certain different movements in different styles of dance, there's just certain components and different muscles that are never going to be used or never going to be used in specific ways. So if you take part in another sport, another activity, anything like that, you're going to have an opportunity to strengthen and most importantly balance out those other muscles so that you can become a stronger dancer. So, to start off with, if you are a ballet dancer, to give like a good visual, and the classical way of training to be a ballet dancer, you would train different styles of ballet multiple times a day, hours and hours a day. You would stretch and practice the exact same steps so that you could do them masterfully and you could do them beautifully and perfectly. But with years and years and years of practicing dance and discoveries in science, we learned that cross-training and actually using different parts of the body is a much faster and much better approach to becoming excellent at ballet, for example. So, my favorite reason for cross-training is because in dance we use our legs a lot. We do a lot of jumping no matter what kind of dance style you're doing. There's lots of flexibility, there's lots of active motion, range of movement, so we have lots of flexibility as dancers, but there's not a lot of pressing and pushing movements in your arms, for example. So unless you are a male partner in like contemporary ballet or anything that involves lots of lifts, maybe some kind of ballroom or partnering or something like that, anything that involves lots of lifts, you're going to be pushing up your partner. But if you are a super contemporary dancer, or you're a soloist, or you're a tap dancer or something, you might never lift anybody ever. Maybe you do hip hop and you always dance solo. And so it is always great to incorporate activities that are going to use those different muscles and in order to not only balance out everything in your body, but it will actually strengthen your skills as your main skill, whether it's ballet or contemporary or whatever. So there is this archaic belief. I remember reading an article once and it was talking about cross-training, and it was talking about how dancers should never swim because swimming, in fact, works all of the opposing muscles that ballet does, so it will set you back. And I was like, no, this is totally nonsense. That's not true at all. So if you want to partake in swimming or anything that works the exact opposite muscles that dancing does, for example, that is actually the most beneficial thing. Now, if you are swimming more than you were dancing, then it might start to strengthen muscles and it might make you less technical and less... It's all about muscle memory. So basically, whichever sport you're doing more, you're going to be more familiar and have more muscle memory to that sport. So if you're dancing 7 days a week and you're swimming 1 day a week, then that 1 day of week of cross-training is going to be so beneficial because it's going to work out all these different muscles and it's going to balance everything out so that when you return to ballet on Monday, everything's going to feel strong and supported. You won't have tired, overworked muscles or anything because all of the muscles that you don't even use to do ballet and to turn out are now also supporting you. And so you just have extra strength and stability in your ballet now, for example. So yes, I think swimming is great. Maybe don't overdo it. Like if you're going to be swimming, just don't spend more hours swimming than you are dancing, because you are working everything in parallel while you're swimming. And that's why people say, oh, no, don't swim if you're a ballet dancer, because you've spent all of this time working on your turnout. But in reality, for example, somebody like me who practiced ballet and made that my priority for years without cross-training properly, I would go to a jazz class and I'm like, oh no, how come I can't do even 2 turns in parallel anymore? And I could do like 6 turns in classical. And sure, I could do 6 turns like turned out in a classical position, but my muscles for doing parallel were so weak. And as soon as I started focusing on those muscles and focusing on turning in and strengthening all those other muscles, bam, now my turns in ballet were even better. So that is the benefit of cross-training. My personal favorite exercise, and what I would recommend to all of you guys if you don't do it already, is to do inversions of any kind, whether this is yoga, whether this is gymnastics. My personal favorite would be taking up an acrobatic and gymnastic kind of plan, because then you're going to be working on everything opposite of what you do in dance. So in dance, everything is usually upright unless you're considering acrobatic styles as dance. I like to think of them as dance myself. I personally love acrobatics, and I believe that it should be incorporated into dance. Some people don't believe that, but some people, they just have a really classical understanding and appreciation of dance, and they don't like any tumbling, they don't like any tricks or acrobatics. I personally love very clean, graceful acrobatics. That's like my absolute favorite. I always have, I always will. So I would say that gymnastics, anything that is going to be having you upside down in like a handstand, or like, whether you're walking on your hands or you're going to be doing tumbling, back handsprings, whether you are doing anything like that, just any of the basics, anything is going to work the opposite muscles that you're using in dance, and it's going to strengthen your arms, it's going to strengthen your back and your shoulders, it's going to work on your back flexibility, but also, more importantly, your core flexibility, because when you're working on these gymnastics movements, it's not just about being flexible. You need to have balance and you need to have strength. So in gymnastics, you need to have an equal strength to your flexibility. So in dance, that doesn't always happen naturally. You might see lots of dancers with a rounded in shoulder posture and a sway back, and they might be able to do like a back scorpion needle and pull their leg to 180 degrees, which I can insert a picture here to show you what I'm talking about, but they might not even be able to do a front limber and pull themselves back up or something like that. And so in gymnastics and through tumbling and being upside down all the time, you're going to have a balanced flexibility to your strength. Same with yoga. Yoga is all about balancing your flexibility to your strength. If you'd like to take part in a Pilates class, that is a perfect conditioning class, that is perfect cross-training, and it's going to work active flexibility. It's actually going to make you an amazing dancer. Pilates is probably one of the best things you can do to cross-train for flexibility. But yeah, gymnastics and anything upside down, that is what I would definitely recommend, even if it's just starting with trying to do a basic handstand, learning how to do a basic headstand even to start, any kind of inversions, forearm stands, all of that kind of acrobatics that you see little kids doing all the time. That is great for working your upper body, and that's going to make sure that while you're turning, for example, while you're dancing, that your shoulders are always going to be down, your upper body is going to be very strong, you're going to feel your posture in a proper placement while you're turning, while you're jumping, and it's going to help you for sure if you are partnering and lifting people. Even just going to the gym, lifting weights, that's perfect, that's great, like shoulder presses, any of that kind of stuff. It's great for dancers to go to the gym, especially for the guys. I once read in a ballet textbook, and this was like super classical. This textbook was like the classical ballet encyclopedia, and it was probably written in the 70s. And it was talking about like what the perfect proportions were for a female and for a male. And there's so many of these archaic traditions that ballet has kind of perpetuated for years and years and years and years and years, But literally, if you think about it, you don't need to follow these things. If you are not one of the 1% of professional dancers that is going to be working as a classical ballet dancer on stage, you do not by any means need to strive to be like 5'9" as a man and 120 pounds. It doesn't matter your height, it doesn't matter your weight. There was things like you should, the ideal male ballet dancer has no trap muscles, no visible trap definition, and I'm like, why? That doesn't help anybody. But it's like they just don't want certain lines appearing or like looking like you are not as aesthetic and lean or any of these things, but those are not important anymore. That is archaic, that is classical ballet. It is my belief and my understanding that the best dancers are the most fit and most balanced dancers that have their flexibility balanced to their strength. So anything that you can do flexibility-wise, you should be able to have the strength to support that so that you do not get injured. And that is why your strength should be matched up with your flexibility. But yeah, as dancers, it's great to be flexible and to do all of these cool flexibility tricks, but at the end of the day and the long term, if you want to be having longevity to your career or longevity just to your passion and your hobby as a dancer, and you want to dance until you're old, really make sure that you focus on having balance in all of your muscles, whether you are doing whatever kind of sport you want. Like I said, I recommend swimming maybe once a week. I don't get to swim that often, but I think it's a great exercise for cross-training. And gymnastics, tumbling, anything upside down is my number one. Pilates for flexibility. You could partake in martial arts. You could even do football. You could do any kind of exercise, really, and it's going to help you. But that's the idea of cross-training. I hope that this video was helpful in explaining what the purpose of cross-training is and how it is useful, and yes, why it is important and why you should cross-train. And I just wanted to remind you guys that dance is for everybody of every different shape, size, and age. There is no specific body type to be a dancer. Just go out, follow your heart, get moving, and that's what's important, and you'll start reaping the benefits. And yeah, that is about it for this video. If you liked it, I hope that you could give this video a thumbs up and hit that juicy red subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell notifications if you don't want to miss another video. I'm going to be posting a lot more useful dance videos and mentoring, and hopefully I can help some of you guys out there to start dancing or to develop your skills and your passion as a dancer. And as always, please make sure to be weird, be wild, and stay sparkly. Namaste. I will talk to you guys. I will talk to you guys later. Tripping over my words. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.